This is going to sound a bit stupid, but taking another course or watching another class isn't what will make you truly learn a new skill. And no, I'm not telling you to give up on studying. On the contrary, it was studying that transformed my life. Today, I have my own business, have worked with companies on several continents, including South America, North America, Europe, Asia, and Oceania, and have the freedom to travel the world. All this because at 16, I decided to study marketing, sales, and business on my own. And in this video, I'll show you a simple, straightforward method that really works to help you learn any skill much faster. You need to understand that what stops many people from learning a new skill is not a lack of knowledge. It's what I call passive learning. You can understand this as excessive passivity. Most people stay in consumption mode, believing that simply attending classes or taking notes and summarizing is enough. But what happens? The brain absorbs the theory but doesn't connect it to reality. This creates what I call passive learning, knowledge that you understand but have not mastered it. You know that time when you read about something, but when the time comes, you get stuck? This happens because you haven't gained enough practical experience to turn that knowledge into action. This is what blocks your growth. You think you are learning, but in reality, you are just accumulating information. What I'm going to show you from now on is how to break out of this passive learning and transform what you study into real, fast, and efficient skills. The first thing you need to really learn is to study the theory and then put it into practice as quick as possible. I started working at 16, and since then I've realized that there's no point in relying solely on theory. All my skills have been developed through hard work and practical application all the time. Studying is important, yes, but if you don't get hands on, you never master a skill or feel confident enough to perform it. You can understand everything about traffic, for example, but you only become good enough when you run a real campaign. So look for ways to put what you have learned into practice. If it's a job related skill, you can offer your services for free or cheap to someone just to gain repertoire and experience. If it's a language, there are several apps for chatting with foreigners, and you can even use ChatGPT, for example, to chat and practice. To give you a real example, I learned a lot in my university and also reading books, but what really stand out and made me really know that what I was talking about was true was making this knowledge work in real campaigns for real companies. Without that, I didn't know that I actually knew that skill, and I actually didn't know that skill for real because what was in theory wasn't reality, and I just knew that from practice. The second point is simple. If you want to grow, stop walking and listening to people who lack goals and growth targets. The environment has a greater power to shape your behavior and habits than you might think, for real. When you are in the process of learning a new skill, surrounding yourself with people who have mastered these skills and are focused on self development will accelerate a lot your growth process. There is a famous saying, you should never be the smartest person at the table. This means that if you want to learn faster, you need to surround yourself with ambitious people who know more than you. So you might ask me, hey Guy, how do I do that? The first thing you should actually do is stop connecting with your bad friends and old friends and start participating in groups, mentoring events, or even following the right people online. By the way, if this type of content resonates with you, subscribe to the channel now. The idea here is to show you how to grow faster with less theory and more practice. Every week there is new content for those who want to improve their performance, both in business and in their personal lives. I also open all my business marketing strategies that I work with my clients, so you can know more about marketing and online campaigns and actually get more knowledge on that to apply in your business as well. So now this is a punch in your face because you're losing a big opportunity. You have access to the world's largest pot of knowledge at your fingertips. You can access the same knowledge as an ancient Greek thinker or a Harvard genius using the internet. So when I entered college, I realized that traditional education gave me a foundation, but didn't deliver the speed and depth I wanted. That's when I began seeking authors, entrepreneurs, and experts who were already at the level I wanted to reach. Today, for $10 or even free online, you have access to the world's greatest thinkers, teachers, and entrepreneurs. People who spent decades making mistakes, testing, studying, writing, and delivered it all in books, lectures, and videos for free or for a very fair price. Your job isn't to discover knowledge from scratch, is to learn how to find the best sources and apply them. As you may know, I'm a marketer, right? And I studied in one of the best colleges in Brazil, but even though it was lacking a lot of knowledge. But with Cheese books, I can take all the information from people that are much more bright than me, right? This is Daniel Kahneman. He wrote a lot of. This book gave him a Nobel Prize. So you can read this book and learn a lot from this. This other book here is from Sean Arcor. He's a Harvard professor, right? So even though I don't study in Harvard, I can get the same knowledge, even though I'm not studying Harvard, right? And this one is from Russell Brunson. He gives me a lot of knowledge that I didn't even learn if I was in a university, or even though like this is a masterpiece. Like you have to read it. Uh, so like these books give me a lot of knowledge even though I wasn't even trying to learn, right? So these guys, they studied a lot before me, and he committed a lot of mistakes to just get to this theory and also to write this book. And you just need to read it and apply it in your life. It's very easy, right? So you can read philosophy, for example, from Greek ancients and learn a lot as well. There is a lot of videos in YouTube of these guys also teaching you a lot of things, like Steve Jobs, like very big billionaires as well, like very great authors, like Seth Godin that I like a lot. There's ton of videos of Seth Godin giving you the gold, and you can search for that. And I promise you, you can learn a lot from that, and you don't even need a university to have this knowledge. The internet can make you dumb or turn you into a genius. Internet is a battleground between wasted time and real learning. On one side, you have an endless feed of gossip, entertainment videos, and content that leads you nowhere. On the other side, you have direct access to classes, lectures, texts, lessons, and interviews with the world's greatest thinkers and professionals, from Harvard to Silicon Valley, from philosophy masters to entrepreneurs who built billion-dollar companies from scratch. Most people spend their entire day consuming shallow content without realizing they could be immersing themselves in material that actually develops a skill, more strategic thinking, or even a new career. The point here is simple. The internet is a neutral tool, and you can use it for productivity and non productivity purposes. So, learning quickly isn't magic. It's about method, focus, and action. The more you practice, the more knowledge becomes a habit and the more you stand out. If you enjoyed this video, there is another one here on the channel where I show you the 5 productivity tools that have mostly sped up my routine. Watch it and continue on this journey. I wait for you.